Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, it's The Handmaid's Tale, Season 4, Episode 1, entitled Pigs. I give a recap of the entire episode with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. We pick up where the last episode ended. Now the ladies tend to June's wound, and their goal is to get everybody to a Martha Network location. They've got a cool guardian, and if they can get them to that location, everything will be fine and they can get out of the city. They're looking for a safe house. They singe the wound by stopping the bleeding. They ride in a vehicle and they fear for their lives, hoping that the next stop will be the safe haven. There are fearful checkpoints, and they have to remain as quiet as possible because the slightest noise can tip off their presence. The Waterfords await their meeting with their lawyers to go over hearing information, but that meeting has been pushed back. They're informed that a plane left Gilead and landed at Pearson. 9 Marthas and 86 children were there. They now will return to their real families. Fred and Serena are shocked and fear it may start a war. They demand that they return home, but Mark reminds them, their homes are gone, remember? You destroyed them. We believe a handmaid was involved, more specifically yours, June Osborne. June is quickly losing more blood and wants to move closer to the safe house. The signal is a lantern, but they can't see it. The only way to be certain is to move closer. The blurred image unveils a lantern, and June gives the signal that everything is safe before collapsing. She's going into shock and can hardly see or hear anything that's going on around her. Everything is a fuzz. All she sees is a young girl admiring her presence, saying that she can't wait to speak to her. Aunt Lydia recaps with the panel that she was interviewed for 19 days with the council. They've decided not to continue the process. They say her frail presence allowed children to be taken. Before she leaves, one of them says handmaids are sinful whores and not worth the trouble. She clarifies that the handmaids are more misled than sinful. They were led astray by a gifted and immoral liar, a Delilah. When she's on the wall, justice will be done. She's eluded your soldiers for 19 days. She's out there planning who knows what to our nation. Pray, find her, and bring her to me, and a frail woman will sleep better at night. I leave you to your work. June wakes up in pain, remembering her body when it was better, when she could awaken without the pain. Now there are pains needed and wounds to heal by homemade penicillin, mold scraped off of rotten fruit. She doesn't want to heal any longer because she feels that everyone else needs her. When she gets up, the others are tending to farm chores. Alma is happy to see June. It's 5 to 6 miles to the next territory, she reports. June hears thumping, and it intrigues her to go to the next room. Blessed day, Commander Keys, but there's no response. June is greeted by a jittery young girl smoking a cigarette. She's excited to see June is up and about. June thanks her so much for taking care of her. She's paranoid and thinking of possible drones as she paces back and forth. She's passionate about retaliation on Gilead, but June warns that there's still danger all around. The young girl warns that I'm still the mistress of this house, and if you weren't going to be brave, she should have stayed and let them catch her. Nick speaks with Lawrence, and Nick reports that his trial went well and that the details are going to be reviewed tomorrow. Lawrence thinks that Gilead thinking of invading Canada is a bad idea. Letting those children go could mean good starts with trade and openings with the borders. Maybe a kickstart with the UN. What happens in the next few weeks will determine the country's fate. It's June's legacy, but Nick still replies with, "Thank you for your service to Gilead." Janice is sad that her Mr. Darcy Piggy that we saw her with earlier is now going to be meat. She says a prayer for him and says it's not your fault. June tries her best to comfort Janice, but unfortunately the pig meets his fate, and there's nothing that they can do. The ladies start to eat dinner, and Janice doesn't want to eat. She's thinking about the pig meat. But Miss Keys won't let the dinner continue until she gets a portion. If he weren't here, that pig would still be alive. This brings the table to silence. She tells her to select a piece of meat and forces her to take a bite. June notices her demeanor is completely off, and it leads Janice to slightly vomit. June tries to understand why Mrs. Keys is so upset. You know what these ladies have been through. They took out her eye. Everyone in there is traumatized. Mrs. Keys says that food is a gift from God, and everyone there must clean their plates. June wants her to put down a knife that she's holding, but she says no. As June tries to leave the room, she says, the commander couldn't do it. Something was wrong with his thing. They tried everything with pills and shots, and it just wouldn't work. So he would bring in eyes, guardians, and other men. He wanted a baby, and he even brought over some commanders. I'm sorry that happened to you. Wives have bad things too. Hey, none of this is your fault. None of it. Miss Keys, I think God is just, and he's gonna make those men pay for what they did to you. And June tries to comfort her as much as possible, gets the knife from her and returns it to the wall. Enraged, June looks for Alma. She wants to know why the only thing that's keeping them from danger is a young girl. Alma says, I was busy trying to keep you alive. You're welcome. Where is everyone, Alma? What are they doing? We're not free. June, maybe this is free as we're gonna get. And everybody else, I don't know. Maybe we should make the best of this. June is taken back to see everyone listening to music and dancing, especially Janice. And it's an odd sight to see, a piece of normalcy. Lawrence knows that the fate is near, and he's instructed to come with guards. He's brought to a room with a sole chair, but Nick has documents that detail where everyone stands concerning the force strength along the border. Invasion options with commentary. They want Lawrence to be an advisor. He thinks that they'll listen to him. Lawrence says the Tao of June Osborne. He relaxes in the chair that once held fear to now getting a close shave. He instructs, keep the length of the beard. I like it. June looks around for Mrs. Keys only to find the knife that she put away back on the table. Mr. Keys introduces himself, Rob Keys, and he apologizes that he can't remember her name. June tells him that her name is Martha, and it's obvious he has a memory loss issue. June is disgusted thinking about the story that Mrs. Keys told her. And he says a girl named Esther makes him feel afraid, and sometimes it's odd, but she's a beautiful girl. June says, you should be afraid. But this staticky, involvement is interrupted, and June is needed outside. They've captured a trespasser who claims that his name is John Proke. Mrs. Keyes confirms it that he's one of them. He's the one that did it to me. He breaks free, running away, knocking down June, and June is in extreme pain. The women start to beat him up, and June yells, "Stop!" Put him in the barn. One of the guards suggests that they should take him to the river to be dealt with, but June says no. They sent her here. That family sent her here to be passed around by those men. She apologizes for not paying more attention to Mrs. Keyes, but June says, "It's not your fault. You know, this man is a traitor to our country. He forced himself on a child. The price to pay is death." And you know what, Mrs. Keyes, you're right. We're Mayday. And we don't hide. We fight. She hands her a knife and says, "Good girl. Now make me proud." And all we hear are his screams afterwards. As June returns to her room to try to get rest, she hears floor creaks, and it's Mrs. Keyes, drenched in blood. She gets in the bed with June and asks, "Is this okay?" And June confirms, and she invites her to her bedside. Mrs. Keyes puts her hands on her shoulder and says, "I love you." And June replies, "I love you too, Banana." And she holds her hand over hers, leaving a blissful smile. And that is the end of the episode. Wow, we have reached the best part of the video, you guys, and that's my review. Lord have mercy. What's going on with June? Now, y'all know this not the first time June, done, killed somebody, but oh my, she getting kissed to kill people. Oh my, what is going on? The murder, June turned into murderer. What is going on? Oh my God. Oh my goodness, June, she is cracking. You hear me? She's had enough. But if you've watched any television series, if you've seen any scary movies, if you've seen stuff about psychotic killers, you never trust a psychopath. And the fact that the girl is so young and she had the gumph enough to just go in with a knife. We're not talking about a gun or nothing like that. A knife. You know how personal that is? If you watch any detective shows, like real ones, and they talk about, certain things with certain weapons, when it's a knife, it's personal. When you strangle somebody, it's personal. So the little girl went in. She already smoking cigarettes. What's going on? It's only the first episode. Oh my gosh. Now, I know they released the first 3 episodes, you guys. And with work and everything, I was like, okay, let me watch this first episode. I'm going to have to finish episodes 2 and 3 tomorrow and review those tomorrow because my brain is like sizzled and like scrambled like some eggs. Like, what is really going on? We go on for, getting a little pig. I'm trying to breathe, y'all. Let me just woosah for a minute. And then Mr. Piglet. Oh no, Lord have mercy. Oh, and the fact that, for those of you who eat meat, did that change your views a little bit on eating meat? Like, dang, that was her friend. Like, you gotta eat your friend? Come on, son. I was just like, oh, she gonna make her eat it. Oh, that little girl look, when she turned and she was just like, oh no, you're gonna eat it. And put her hand over her mouth, she's slowly cracking. Look, you guys, you can't trust a psychopath. I've seen it in every scary movie, in any detective show, in any mystery. It may seem now like she's on June's side and she's like a ride or die for everybody, but you don't trust those people because they slowly turn and snap on everybody else. Nobody is safe. And June is right also on another point that they're not free. They're not safe. They kind of feel like they in the middle of nowhere, but they getting real chill and too relaxed because they said that the next area is 6 to 7 miles. That's really not that far. You know what I mean? That's really, really not that far. And the longer that they sit there and kick it, then, that gives more opportunity for people that are looking for them to pop up. They dancing, they back there, TikToking and stuff like that. Meanwhile, people are still looking for them. And June is right. Like, they gotta move on to the next space. Now, if y'all have seen episodes 2 and 3, please don't put any spoilers in the comments. Episodes 2 and 3 will be up, and I will get that up tomorrow. Okay, you guys, on Thursday. So try not to put any spoilers if you've already seen 2 and 3. But I just got a bad feeling about old girl. I'm just like, then she kept her dress on and her cloak or whatever. Somebody else was let me take my jacket off. I'm about to go in. She just stayed real formal with it. Ooh, yeah, I was looking at that like, okay, June, I could see if you wanted to do it, but you was like, you gave the little girl the knife. Here, you do it. Did you do it? You know what I'm saying? But another thing that y'all ever think about, if the little girl was lying, now, peep this, right? I'm not saying that her stories aren't true, but they never took the thing off his mouth, right? For him to say who he was or what his name was, because remember, June said, what's his name? But the little girl answered, and everybody else is believing the little girl. What if she just wanted off anybody that's a threat? Right? What if we find out that that's not the guy who literally did something to her? You know what I'm saying? Ooh-wee, y'all, I don't know. Let me know. Lot of mercy. I was on the couch like, for real? I guess you reach your breaking point where you like, I don't care. And she wanted that little girl to have her, she smoked cigarettes pacing back and forth. She was like, I'm going to let you do it because you kind of already want to do this. So do y'all want bacon now? Are y'all gonna eat bacon tomorrow? What's going on? Y'all eating that for breakfast? Anywho, I hope you would like the review and the recap. In the meantime, like this video, subscribe, spread the word about this channel. There are plenty of other shows to watch in the playlist. And if you're new to the channel, make sure that you binge watch and check that out as well. Remember, we got Pose. The final season is coming next week. And if you're a fan of the show, or if you don't have the channel, just know you can come to my channel and get all of the recaps and all of the details and all of the tea on this family-friendly channel. Don't forget, it's family-friendly. Also, follow me on Instagram so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next, and also some sneak peeks about what's going on in my personal life too, all right? In the meantime, take care of yourself and each other. Leave your comments below. I can't wait to read them to get your guesses and what you enjoyed about this episode, all right? Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye!